What's going on, Lead Gen Bees? Matty Ice here, Leads for Locals. Got an interesting one for you today. We're going to talk about how to win fraudulent disputes and chargebacks. This is beyond frustrating in our business as a business owner, right? This applies to any industry, obviously. And I'm going to be talking about my process that I use for my agency with a couple of different products that I have. And there is you might not think so, but there is a process that you can follow that will significantly increase your chances of winning these fraudulent disputes. And I don't know why people do this. Assuming that, obviously, if you're watching this channel, I assume that you're acting in good faith. You're a business owner trying to bring great value to your customers. You provide. You've created and provide a very phenomenal product or service to your customers. This video is for you. And it's really frustrating when you put your just the best that you have, everything that you've got into your product and service, and trying to make it as good as you possibly can. You have people getting great results from it, or just enjoying your product very much, and then you have these people that will buy your product or service, and then 30 days or 60 days later, they do this fraudulent dispute and chargeback with their bank because they want to whine and cry and they want their money back. It's really, really frustrating. It's borderline theft is what it is. And it does not feel good to be stolen from, right? So I just won a dispute for $600 that some jerk trying to steal from me, which was pretty funny because I spent over an hour with him on a live Zoom call, onboarding him for my software product, my SaaS product. I gave him twice as many leads as he purchased. And he got access to twice as much as what was in the free demo that I give for my SaaS product, because he claimed that the product was unacceptable, wasn't what was promised or whatever, which is absolutely ridiculous. In some cases, he's right, because you got twice as much as you originally were shown. So I don't know what you're crying about. But anyways, guys, I want to walk you through my process for this. I'm going to do the best I can. Unfortunately, I can't walk you through like step by step how to implement some of this because I don't have a current dispute going. I also don't know which credit card processor that you're using. But for the most part, they make it, at least Stripe. I use Stripe for my credit card processing. They make it pretty easy to file a dispute, submit evidence. And I'm going to just share with you what I do that has been working. I've won my last 4 disputes, or I guess technically 3. I don't get a ton of these, but it's really, really frustrating when they happen. Again, you just feel like you're being stolen from. So, but ever since I started implementing these things I'm about to share with you, I started winning my disputes. All right. So I want to share that with you. And let me show you, take you over to Stripe here. Here's the disputes. All right. So initially, when you get a dispute is filed, you're going to get notified by your credit card processor. It's going to immediately take take the money out of your account. You got to pay fees, all that stuff. And unfortunately, it's kind of a long process. It can take. I've had. Let's see. This particular one that this recent one was. It's about a month, and then I've had others take like 2 months. To get processed. So, but I just wanted to show you here. This is actually. So these 2 disputes were actually one customer, one thief, and. So about $600, that's pretty frustrating, right? Right here, it was disputed on April 5th. Just so you know, you can see that I've won my last. It's technically 3, but I suppose it's 4. They could have denied one of them, but I won both of them. But you'll see here that I was losing any disputes that took place, and I just wasn't putting as much effort into it as I do now. And if you guys do want to win your disputes, you have to put some effort into it. All right. So let me break down the process here. The first thing that I want to talk about is make sure you don't overreact, guys, because that can absolutely work against you. I remember because our initial reaction is like, "Are you kidding me? Like, this is just ridiculous." Right. And here's the thing, guys. I do want to have make a disclaimer here, is that I do file disputes myself as a consumer every once in a blue moon. I believe they do have a use case that, there's a reason they're there, and it's to protect consumers from being ripped off. And I've been ripped off before. I recently did one. It was probably 6 months ago. I ordered a product, never received it. I reached out to the company via email multiple times. I DM'd them on their Instagram. I just didn't hear anything. And so after a couple of months of that, I was like, okay, I'm just going to file a dispute. And of course I won. Right. So disputes are good for people who are actually being ripped off and being scammed or whatnot. But there's a good chunk of people out there that use this to just get their money back, or at least try to. They think it's as easy as calling up their bank like, hey, I never received this product, or it's not what I was promised, blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, what they don't realize is that, if the business owner has a process for this, the same thing that you just caused the business owner, where the money was just randomly taken out of their account, that same thing is going to happen to you if you're filing fraudulent disputes. All right. So I just want to make that clear that I do believe disputes are important. The way that they're used, though, is just disgusting sometimes. So do not overreact. It's pretty easy to do that. You do want to reach out to the customer if possible and try to resolve the situation. I'll give you an example. Not this dispute, but I think it was the one before. Maybe which one was it? It was one of these two that I won. I actually reached out to the customer. I called him and I was like, you want to explain to me why you logged in like a dozen times? I can't even remember, because I'm going to show you guys how to get really good evidence to submit here in a second. But I could see it was a course of mine that he purchased and now disputed. And I could see all of his logins. Like I could see how many times he logged in. I could see his progress in the course. And the course that I give a lot of stuff in there, funnels and emails and all this stuff that he could have, Facebook ads, all the stuff he could have just taken. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? And he actually said, is it okay if I record this? He wanted to use that as evidence against me. I said, absolutely. This is only going to serve me because I had all the evidence in my favor here. And, we had a conversation and I was very firm with him, but I wasn't yelling. I was not calling him names. And he actually, what was it? I can't remember how the conversation ended there, but, I was just like, if you, this is going to catch up to you. I can't remember exactly, but he actually called me back. Like 5 minutes later and said, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I'll go ahead and call them and get rid of the dispute. Of course, he never did. All right. But sometimes reaching out to the customer just to get more information and try to resolve the situation, because that's what I tried to do. I was like, why did you do that? It had something to do with, I couldn't figure out my Facebook pixel. So why didn't you ask me? Why do you just jump to filing a dispute? That's ridiculous. And I offered to, help him, whatever. So that was one instance where I, was pretty close to resolving it amicably. He did not retract the dispute. Of course, I ended up winning it because I had all the evidence in my favor. But I just want to share that example. When you reach out to a customer, do it professionally, be firm, stand your ground, but, try to see, okay, what was the reason for this? Did you really feel like you were taken advantage of? Was this a mistake? Whatever. Try and get more information. Just don't go off the handle, okay? You want to be professional, but firm, but professional, okay? And you don't even have to call them. A simple email, maybe a text. I've tried that before. If they don't respond, that's where the evidence comes in, all right? So we want to submit as much evidence as you can. Receipts, customer activity, the deliverables, communication, etc. So I have a couple of different ways of doing this. I don't know how other credit card processors do this, but when you go to submit evidence for a dispute, it automatically includes the receipt. So you might need to just go into payments, click search, type search your the customer's profile, and you'll see the purchases, the date, and all that stuff. You want to also let me back up. So you have the receipts. You want to provide as much customer information as possible. This is why I like to get the shipping in or billing address as well. I think I have one without the address, but again, just the more information you have on the customer, the more legitimate the purchase looks. All right, the sale, the transaction, because that's a lot of information. If you have name, email, phone number, billing address, or shipping address, or whatever, and you can provide that. Because they are going to ask for customer information when you are submitting evidence. So you want to try to have as much information as possible. Also, guys, you want to make sure, I should actually put this here as a bullet point. make sure you have your refund policy very clear on the order form. I have mine in big letters, no refunds. You can cancel at any time. There's no contract. But due to the nature of the information and the materials provided in this program, we do not offer refunds at all. All right. Make sure that is very clear. Right. I don't know. It's like some people we're scared to show that there's no refunds. It's just, I don't really know why. Because again, it depends on your business and what you're offering. But the stuff that I put out there, like in my courses and stuff, they get pre-made Facebook ads, they get funnels, they get all this stuff that they can download. So yeah, of course, there's no refunds. Not to mention the awesome information that you're getting. And plus, I want to work with people who are serious, right? So everybody's different. Just make sure though that you have your refund policy very clear. Or at least a link that's very clear that they can click and learn more about it, because the bank does want that information. Were they informed about the refund policy? And fortunately for me, I'm able to say absolutely. It's in big bold letters right on the order form where they're typing in their credit card information. No refunds. And not to mention, they don't even ask for a refund. They just file the dispute. It's hilarious. So customer activity, deliverables, communication. Let's break this down really quick. So one of the things that I've done is I make videos as well. I'll do a Loom video just like I'm using for this YouTube video. And you can send those links, submit them as evidence in the additional info section. Like here, I have a complete video walkthrough of of exactly what the customer received, showing their activity within the product, stuff like that, right? So you can make videos, and I sent one showing that for one of the disputes that he did was a lead purchase. He purchased leads, 250 leads, which I delivered, and I gave him twice as many as he purchased. Right. So I made a video going into contacts here. Here's the list: 250 lead purchase, but there's 476 records. Right. I over delivered here. All right. You can also see if you're using GoHighLevel, guys. You can go into their sub accounts and they have things like audit logs. You can also do this on the on the agency level. Unfortunately, it's only within the last 60 days. That's the longest that you can go. Most disputes are within that time frame. I find I haven't had anything that's like really, really far out there. They can dispute up to within 180 days of the purchase. Unfortunately, for me, that's a really long time. That's just absolutely ridiculous to me. But anyways, you can go through the audit logs, see their activity within, the sub accounts and whatnot. You can do the same thing on the agency level. And the other thing I want to show you guys too is if you have some type of login area or, you're selling a course, you have a training area that people log into. If you're using something like GoHighLevel, I think, I think most platforms that have a membership site area that you can create have some form of analytics that you can track. So if you go to sites, I use GoHighLevel, so I'm just going to show you inside of here. Go to memberships. You want to go to the analytics part of the members area, which I have for, pretty much every product that I offer. And you can go to product progress, and I'm just going to use this as an example. This doesn't have any members, but you can see how many times have they logged in. What was their last login? When did they start? What's their progress? How much of the program have they gone through? And you can screenshot that and submit that as evidence. That is huge. I can't tell you how powerful that is. This person, my most recent dispute, logged in 8 times. I can't remember the rest of this here, but he logged in multiple times to, implementing stuff. I don't know exactly what he was doing, but he was using the product. Right. So showing the bank that they have access to the product, they're using the product is very, very important. OK, so login details. And then let's see. Also, what I'll do is I'll do screenshots of the activity of them like being on the order form. I'll show you an example here. So let's go to here. 1 second. All right, I just pulled up one of my test accounts here. So I screenshot this right here, this activity, two-step order form submitted. I also screenshot the emails and text messages that go back and forth between myself and the prospect. In this recent dispute, I screenshotted the email that delivered the leads. I screenshotted the email that set up the onboarding call, showing that I spent over an hour with this person live, one-on-one on a Zoom call, walking them through how to use the software. If they want to claim that it was unacceptable, why didn't they do it then when they saw the product live? Oh, this isn't what was in the demo. This is not what I was looking for. No, instead he was like, dude, this is awesome. I can't wait to get started. So anyways, I screenshot all of that. And when you upload this evidence, you have to categorize it. I usually just do like customer communication, product delivery, just stuff like that. I don't think it makes I don't think it's a huge difference or makes a big impact on whether or not the evidence is considered or not. If you like miscategorize it, the evidence itself is what's important, right? So anyways, last part, write a very thorough explanation of your experience with the customer. And a couple of things I want to break down here is, so usually in the explanation, I'm kind of summarizing all of the evidence that I've submitted. But in this particular case, and it's going to be different with every customer. Maybe you didn't do a Zoom call with this person, or there wasn't a lot of communication or whatever. But you want to just summarize the experience you've had with the customer from start to finish as much as possible. The customer, as you can see by the evidence submitted, the customer logged in multiple times, went through a good portion of the product. I have delivery confirmation right here. If you guys are doing like physical products or whatnot, so to say that they didn't receive the product, obviously that's not the case. And this dispute should absolutely not be allowed. This is borderline theft. And I say that in every single dispute now, guys. And it seems to make an impact where I mentioned that this is borderline theft. Based on the actual evidence submitted, not the customer's word, the actual evidence submitted, you can see that the customer received the product, was okay with it. I didn't receive any communication. It's funny too, because this person filed the dispute like 2 days before their subscription renewal, right? Why didn't he just ask me to cancel? Why didn't he reach out to me and say, hey, Matt, I'm struggling with this. It's not quite what I thought it was going to be. Can I get some help? Or, what can we do? There was none of that, right? So it comes down to the evidence, not what the customer is saying. And I tell them, like, this is borderline theft. This should not be allowed. The customer received exactly what they were purchasing. They knew there were no refunds. They did not reach out for support. This should not be allowed, right? And so far, that process seems to work pretty well. So you need to put a little bit of effort into this, guys. If you really want to win your disputes, submit your evidence, write a thorough explanation. They usually give you, like Stripe gives you an additional info box. So after you submit your evidence, is there any other additional information that you want to provide? Fill that thing up, man. Don't go too, I guess don't fill it up. Don't go too crazy, but summarize it. Keep it professional. No name calling, no curse words, nothing. Keep it professional, but firm. And keep in the back of your mind when you're writing that this is borderline theft, dude, really. So anyways, guys, that's my process. I hope that helps. I hope you can take something from that will help you win the disputes that come out or that happen. I've seen people get disputes for thousands of dollars, man, after, delivering the product and, helping the customer, whatever. And it's so frustrating. So you need a process for it. All right. So submit evidence, write your explanation out, keep good records, make sure your refund policy is very, very clear. And, a good portion of the time you should be okay. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments, and also share any tips that you guys use. If you are pretty good at winning your disputes, what do you guys do to do that? I'm open to any suggestions as well. But hopefully this process helps. I hope you guys are crushing. I hope you're not getting too many. Fortunately, I haven't had, too many disputes. It's just frustrating when it happens. But anyways, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.